Hello, everyone. So I am back at it again here. Managed to score another ILG. This is a Model 183. This was made in, well, it has a certified rating sticker on it of 1952. And this was used in a school. I'm not sure exactly what room it came out of, but it must have been in a pretty well controlled environment because it's in great condition and there's no real corrosion of any kind on there. The paint is pretty well intact. You can see the bullet looks a lot clearer and more vivid looking, and that is simply because I put some rubbing compound on there and gave it a coat of wax on top. So that shined up really nicely, and I'm sure the whole rest of the fan will clean up equally well. But this one it's a two-speed fan, 1/6 horsepower, pretty much the standard run-of-the-mill thing for a 183. But unfortunately, it did not come with the converter box that has the capacitor as well as the two-speed switch would have been in there. So all that means is I just have to come up with a setup myself for that, which is not difficult. Just a couple switches I need, and I mean, really, I could make it one switch, but some kind of combination of switches I will use. And of course, the capacitor, I actually happen to have the correct size capacitor. These fans use if they have a 1/6 horsepower motor like this, they use a 7.5 microfarad capacitor. So I happened to luck out. I had one on hand, so I was able to hook that up and get this thing running. Um, and the bearings in it are quite dry. They definitely have that rough, old, classic ILG fan bearing sound. So I will be working on those. These fans typically have a 203 KLL2 type bearing in them. That's essentially a 6203, but it has a wider inner race. When I replace them, I will likely put standard 6203 bearings in there simply because it'll be cheaper, easier to find, and gives me more options as to what brand and type of bearing I want to use. And I'll just have to put some arbor shims in there to take up the space from since it'll have narrower inner races on there. And then also that gives me the option to, if I need, I could make the bearings slightly closer together from front to back, and that'll give me a little bit of space to put a preload spring in there, a little wave spring or spring washer. And of course, that helps to quiet the operation of the motor so that it'll really be super silky smooth. So, I got some plans for this thing. I'm probably going to build a stand for it because I like to at least have a stand so I can have these so they stand up on their own and they can be portable and I can use them. I enjoy running them. They move a ton of air and they're nice and quiet when they're in proper mechanical order. So here we go though. I'm going to fire this up on high speed. I have it wired for, and we'll get to hear these lovely dry bearings. And here it goes. It definitely moves a lot of air because even though it's pointed down at the floor, I'm standing a good 5 or 6 feet behind it, and I can feel quite a breeze coming from around, blowing down at the floor and kind of reflecting back. So it's definitely a powerful fan. Now it's off. The bearings definitely have had their past their useful life. And this has a much smoother startup than my other 183, which has the 1/5 horsepower in it. Um, that one has a more, I guess you could say, aggressive start to it. It is better now that I have the bearings all fixed the way they should be, and I have the preload in there. That made such a difference with that fan. Without the preload spring, it was just very noisy. The bearings, even with brand new bearings, they would kind of chatter in there. And now that has that preload, it runs very quiet. This one seems to be running quiet. Aside from the roughness in the bearings, there's not a lot of excessive vibration or chattering or any kind of noises that you would not that you wouldn't want to be hearing from it. So I'm happy with that, and I just am looking forward to cleaning this thing up. I'm going to see if I can hopefully remove that paint spot, that white paint that's on the blade, and there's a little bit around the perimeter of the frame. Hopefully I'll be able to clean that up and have it so that it's nice and clean looking. And I mean, it's certainly not a new old stock fan. It definitely has use on it, but I think for being the age that it is and having been used, it is certainly in very nice shape. Alright, so that wraps up the introduction to this ILG Model 183. Hope you all enjoyed watching this. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to my channel to see some more content covering this fan and many other ILG related topics. And have a fantastic day. Thanks again for watching.